एक बार बात पूछ लो कि आवाज आ रही है।
Hello, can you hear me, Anil sir? Online. Yes.
अहं श्रूयते। भवान् आरम्भं करोतु।
अस्तु महोदय। नमो नमः सर्वेभ्यः. Good evening to one and all present here. It is a true privilege to welcome all of you to what promises to be an enlightening session as we embark on this guest lecture organized by the Center for Indian Knowledge Systems, IIT Roorkee. This is a special moment for all of us, as we are thrilled to have an exceptional lineup of dignitaries and scholars with us today. First and foremost, a heartfelt welcome to the head of the Center for Indian Knowledge Systems, Professor Anil Gaurishetty, who has been the force behind today's event. Even though he is joining us online, his presence is invaluable. This is just the beginning of a series of such lectures that will provide us with an opportunity to dive into topics where modern scientific research meets the rich depths of traditional wisdom. We are all eager to see what lies ahead for the center and the future programs it will host. At this juncture, I would like to invite Professor Anil to kindly share a few words about the center and its vision for promoting this unique intersection of knowledge.
धन्यवादाः अर्जुनः. So it is indeed a great pleasure to have Professor Anirban Bandyopadhyay here. Thank you so much, Professor Anirban, for accepting the invitation sent by Professor Soham Chakrabarti, who is a professor in Electrical Engineering Department and a joint faculty member in the Center for Indian Knowledge Systems. So IIT Roorkee has established this Center for Indian Knowledge Systems in line with new education policy recommendations in 2023 November. So in 2 months, the center is going to celebrate first anniversary, and the Center for IKS is able to initiate research in several areas, including tribal knowledge systems and development of study material for school and undergraduate students funded by IKS division. And in terms of teaching, the center is running several courses, including a 2-credit IKS course, which is mandatory to all BTech first year students at IIT Roorkee. So last semester, we successfully ran this course for about 1400 students when BTech students joined the institute. And in the second year, when the students come, we have courses on philosophy of yoga, and we have Sanskrit for communication at UG level. And at PG level, we have this introduction to IKS, and also we have a yoga related course. So in terms of teaching and research, we are trying our level best, and I'm confident with this guest lecture series, we will generate more interest among the students and staff of the institute. And I sincerely thank all the participants who have joined from different parts of India and outside Bharat. And I'm able to see 42 participants in the attendee list. And with their continuous suggestions and active cooperation, the Center for IKS will certainly do many good things in the field of IKS. So with these words, I express my gratitude to Professor Anirban again for accepting this invitation. And I'm also eager to listen to the relation between the biomaterials and Samkhya, which is one of the 6 philosophies of Bharatiya knowledge systems, which focuses on spiritual growth and the liberation. I'm also very much eager to listen to you, Professor Anirban. Thank you so much. Pradyumna, please take over.
Dhanyavadah Mahoday. Thank you for this insightful overview of the center and for spearheading such a visionary initiative. Now, without further ado, let's begin the talk we all are eagerly waiting for. I would like to welcome Professor Soham Chakrabarti to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Anirban Bandyopadhyay, who will be presenting on a fascinating topic today, electromagnetic resonance of biomaterials and Samkhya, a study of prime symmetry and resonance frequencies. It is not every day that we get to explore something that sits so uniquely at the crossroads of ancient philosophy and cutting edge science. Professor Chakrabarti, the floor is yours.
It is indeed my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Anirban Bandyopadhyay to all the audience out here. And it has been my good fortune to meet with him at some juncture in our search for people who are working in the cross borders of science and Indian knowledge systems. And he is one of the visionaries who I think he is one of the visionaries in modern science who is trying to like relate these two topics quite well, and he is developing the theories so that it is in the scientific language the theories can be expressed, which actually our traditional knowledge also has given to us in terms of darshan shastras. Now let me just just read the bio of the speaker and then hand it over to Dr. Bandyopadhyay for taking over the lecture. Anirban Bandyopadhyay is a senior scientist in the National Institute for Material Science, NIMS, Tsukuba, Japan. He possesses a Master's of Science in Condensed Matter Physics, Computer, Numerical Analysis and Astrophysics from North Bengal University and a Doctor of Philosophy in Physics from Jadavpur University. He received his PhD from the Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science, Kolkata, where he worked on supramolecular electronics and multi-level switching. Bandyopadhyay has developed a resonance chain based complete human brain model that is fundamentally different than Turing tape, essentially developing an alternate human brain map where filling gaps in the resonance chain is the key. He has developed a unique quantum music measurement machine and experiments on DNA proteins, microtubules, neurons, molecular machines, cancer. Bandyopadhyay has also developed a new frequency fractal model. His group has designed and synthesized several forms of organic brain jelly that learns, programs, and solves problems by itself for futuristic robots, as well as several software simulators that write complex codes by themselves. So, this is the short summary that Dr. Anirban has provided me to just read here, and I am sure that in the talk he will give us other facets and aspects of his research, and we will get to know what in which area the modern scientific research is progressing, which is trying to have a crossover with Indian traditional knowledge. The floor is yours, Dr. Bandyopadhyay. I hand it over to you now.
Thank you very much, Professor Anil Gaurishetty and Sean Chakrabarti. And I'm happy to know that next to my mandatory to at least when we were young, we had no exposure, and when I got a student from US, Cameron Keys, and he started teaching me what is Hatha Yoga. When I was in MIT as a visiting professor, I saw that one of the best centers to understand Hindu philosophy is in Harvard, and the best journal of Hindu philosophy comes out from Netherlands. And today I will talk about several Hindu philosophies, but none of those literatures are from India. So it is very unfortunate for all the BTech students and young generations to see that if they want to learn about Sanatan Hinduism and then other philosophies, they have to refer to and they have to study Western scholars' books. So I would like to just begin. Can you see the full screen? Could you please confirm?
Yeah, it is starting. The window has popped up.
Just let me know when you see the full screen.
Yeah, sure.
Can you now see the full screen?
No, it is still saying that Anil Bandyopadhyay is starting to share content. So maybe it is taking time. Maybe you can unshare and share again. Yes, now we are able to see your screen. You can go for your PPT. Yes. Or you can go to presentation mode. Yeah. Done.
Is it okay now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you um, about something that I don't think you experienced before. So let me start with in the left side of my screen. You can see there is a big black circle, and this is what you can do is we have in our universe one galaxy for every 400 million black holes. So I put 400 million black dots, then one white dot. So basically whole universe from outside would be appearing like a black circle or black, absolutely an undefined material. Okay. And what about human consciousness? So 77% of my body is water, and I can add say if I have 100 ml a glass, 100 ml water, and then I have to add a little bit of oil, some protein, say I would add some little bit of milk and some salt, and I make a solution that is me, and I'm conscious. So is it that water um, wanted to be conscious, and that's why it made life in the planet Earth? So when we study a lot about your science, many of you have studied biology, and you have studied neuron and its firing, and then so many different things. There are hundreds of theories of consciousness, and it is still a mystery. Nobody in the world has any clue how we become us. Who am I? The question is still unanswered, and there is no chance that in this century at least there will be a comprehensive answer. So be sure that all of you who are alive and who will be alive will not be able to see a complete answer. So because there are many questions for which we have absolutely no answer in science, and today we will prepare a list and we will see why our knowledge about this universe and many basic things about science and technology is so primitive. That's why I have given you two examples, extreme examples, that what our universe is, that basic concept that we have is very much questionable. What we know about ourselves is also very much questionable. So far, universe in a nutshell. So this is the grand unification theory. How we have built it? So this is the most advanced scientific theory, which has got already multiple Nobel Prizes. And so this equation, and what we do, we take the elementary particles, we find out interaction potential between them, and we we sum up all possible interactions, we say this is our universe. So this is the most modern understanding of the universe of elementary particles. What does it explain? It explains those particles for which we have taken the interactions. What it doesn't explain is the whole universe, from the smallest to the largest, how the universe got created. So this problem is called hierarchy problem. So it is one of the biggest problems, and any of you can contribute even a little bit to it, and be sure to get a Nobel Prize. So there are many people. For years to come, they will get the Nobel Prize, and one day maybe it will be solved. Now, what we have in this universe. So in the left side, you see many concentric circles. In the center, we have some gas-like uh, Higgs boson. So that is a cloud, and the particle goes in. So you don't see the particles, you see the trace of paths, and then you see some helical phase. Symmetries are born, some topologies and colors, and quantum chromodynamics in the third layer. In the fourth layer, you will see several helical paths or atoms are born, and orbitals are born, and then time crystals, polyatomic time crystals, several concepts are born. And then you see galaxies and planets, and extreme outer layer, in the sixth layer, we have black holes, and black holes, the photograph that I showed to you. So at least 6 layers we have in the modern understanding, and we know there are 4 fundamental forces of the universe. So here we have this is from Yoga Vasishtha, and there is a fundamental difference in the Western understanding of the universe, that is Abrahamic understanding of the universe, and understanding of the universe from the um, Sanatan Hindu. So today whatever I will talk about is from Sanatan Hindu. Sanatan Hindu perspective means it is the most ancient one and the oldest one, where they even challenge the existence of God. And it was about Sankhya philosophy and others. So it is said that numbers and their patterns created the universe. So it's a very radical concept about understanding the universe. And if you want to build technology, machines, and tools for the human society, construct everything about human society, you have to have a basic understanding of the origin of the universe. That's why I'm coming in here. And in the Yoga Vasishtha, it says, as many worlds as there are outside, so many are within the self. So this is fundamentally different. In the Abrahamic science, the science that you study, the technology that you study in your schools all over the world, um, they suggest that whatever be the universe, information in the universe can be written in a linear tape. So everything has to be defined. So line by line, with one after another, bits and pieces of identical information, 0101 bits or qubits, you can write everything in the universe if you have sufficient resources. However, the Sanatan Hindu philosophy is just orthogonal to it. Orthogonal means not opposite. If you have a horizontal line, then you go cos 90 degree, you go orthogonal, then you go there. So that means it is not a side-by-side increment of information, it is orthogonal. That means within and above. So you have only one cell, that is the whole universe. As you heard, many of you have heard, Jat Pindate Tat Brahmande, Jat Brahmande Tat Pindate. That means if you find a point, you can get inside and inside and inside and inside, you find the whole universe within. And if you go outside and outside and outside and outside and outside, you find the whole universe. So this is just one from Yoga Vasishtha, but in the last 6,000, 7,000, or 8,000, whatever be the years of Hindu civilization and that we have, that where we live in, this particular structure of the universe is very unique. Only in India it was explored, only by the Hindus, and nowhere else in the world. So it's very, very unique. To the right, I have one plot, and this is the algorithm software we did for the hierarchy problem. I told you now that if you can solve hierarchy problem in future, you can get a Nobel Prize, because already 2 Nobel Prizes given. But they don't explain how mass has been distributed from the smallest to the largest, like my mass and other mass. So this is a plot that we did, and if you want the algorithm, we can provide you the algorithm so that you can play with it. So there are several tools we have created, um, and you can, so that you can see the red dots. The red dots are the elementary particles, quarks and Higgs boson. The green ones are the biological structures, and the blue ones are the astrophysical objects. And to the right, it looks like almost like a ohm, and you go there, and to the extreme right is the whole universe. So if you go to the top part, anti-clockwise part, then you see all the black holes and clusters, and then galaxies are at the junction where the ohm three lines come out. So to me, ohm doesn't have any other significance than clockwise, anti-clockwise, and superposition of clockwise and anti-clockwise. So I can write wave function psi is equal to e to the power minus I theta, psi equal to for anti-clockwise, for clockwise psi 0 e to the power plus I theta, and superposition. So C1 psi 1 e to the power plus I theta plus C2 e to the power I2 plus I theta would be the superposition of clockwise and anti-clockwise. So with this quantum wave function, I can explain how it is going on. So in the left hand corner vertically, I have put mass by surface area of every single object, and horizontally the radius. But is it accidental? So we have proposed so in the Sankhya, the prime numbers, you have to understand that they never used to say Maulik Sankhya or something like that. They used to call prime numbers as Daivik. Okay. So so we have proposed a self-operating mathematical universe, because one of the major concern that I had was always was that even before we start understanding what is the system, we should have a clear basic idea how the system should be structured. And biggest concern of all should be how a system operates by itself, how the universe operated by itself, how I mean, I had no idea about what kind of audience would there be, and how you will organize this whole lecture. This is actually 10 p.m. In the late night here in Japan, and I had a misunderstanding. I thought it is 6 p.m. Japanese time, and now I'm extremely sleepy in a different state, and then I'm trying to give my presentation, and I'm managing somehow it is going on. So these are the beauties of the self-operating systems. Environment continuously changing, and something is happening. So you know that in the current science there is 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time, because time is linear, past, present, future. But you must know that we Hindus never ever considered time as linear. Time was like a kala chakra, so that means cycle, it comes back. So it's like a crystal. So you can take lots of this kind of circles like spheres, you put them together, and then you create an architecture of time. So you know Chaunshat Yogi and Chaunshat Yogini temple in Madhya Pradesh. You know Shiva danced Nataraja dance forms, and all these the fighting that Shiva had with Brahma, all these kind of stories. And then where Kala Chakra, Kala, or Shiva is called Kala Bhairav. So Kala is time, and his wife is Kali, so feminine form of time. And then they come together, and then those kind of dance, and then how architecture of time construct the whole universe. And you know Muhurat, you know Subha Muhurat. So they see time, and with Panchanga, and then they try to find out what is good time, what is bad time. All this kind of plethora of knowledge comes. I mean, I will not discuss about any of this today, but just to tell you that even if you go for 3 dimensions of time, if you just consider time as circular, it's a sphere like, it's a particle like, then almost like space, you can create 3 dimensional time. But you have to understand that the quest didn't stop over there. Space, 3 dimensional space and 3 dimensional time is Maya reality, and that is the Prakriti. And then there is a deformation of Sattva, Rajatama, gunas, and then it becomes samsara. But 3 dimensional space and 3 dimensional time just makes 6 dimensional space. But there should be 3 dimensional topology, that is geometric changes, morphogenesis. That is, for an example, teardrop to ellipsoid. Sperm looks like teardrop, and sphere, and ovum looks like sphere. So you can write one mathematical equations of transformations to explain the morphogenesis at 3 dimensions of primes, where the Samkhya comes in. So it means, so this was proposed by Maharshi Kapil in pre-Vedic era, pre-Rig Vedic era. So you can understand that in Vedas, it was referred many times, um, uh, Maharshi Kapil. So Sankhya could be even much older than that. But Maharshi Kapil said that the whole universe, everything could be explained 3 dimensional topology, 3 dimensional prime. So that is Sankhya Darshan. And then he started with the 3 color codes from which quantum chromodynamics was born, was given about by George Sudarshan from Kerala. And so you see 3 dimensions topology and 3 dimensions of prime. So 6 dimensions of Purusha, that is the non-physical physical control. So that part does not exist in the West or anywhere in the world. So it was considered that like numbers and then all these kind of patterns are creating everything. We can't see them, we can feel them, that they are there. However, Maharshi Kapil's student was Arushi, and he challenged his guru, and he said that you can't just ignore the reality that is present over there. So the structure that you see now, the 3 dimensional space, 3 dimensional time, 3 dimensional topology, it's like half of it, 6 dimensions of Prakriti and 6 dimensions of Purusha. So Purusha Prakriti duality, that duality was brought in by Arushi, and he challenged his boss on something. One of the biggest problem of converting Hindu Sanatan philosophies into a construct of science is that within and above. So when that system is within and above, you can't have differential equations, integrations, and all these kind of tools. You have to go to higher dimensions mathematics. So let's try to see. So basically what we can do is we can get into the higher dimensional tensor. So you know quaternion and octonion, called Chautisha and Astisha. In the Hindu temples you can find those structures, mathematics and evolutions. And those went from India to Europe in the 1800s. But in the last 200 years, they didn't develop much. But when I proposed from our group in 2014, the fractal tape, that is kind of thousands of years of Hindu basic philosophy, then I got into a deep trouble that what should be the associated mathematics. And then we started developing the mathematical tools. And then quaternion and octonions, that is 4x4 tensor and 8x8 tensor, was not enough. So what we did, we went on creating all possible hard dimensions of the primes. We have gone up to 108. So I will tell you later the reason why we have gone to 108. But you need completely different kind of high dimensional mathematical form. So horizontal axis is a vector, and vertical axis is the same dimensional vector, say 47 dimensional vector, and then you take a product of that to create the whole tensor. So maybe 41st universe, that is inside universe inside a universe inside a universe. So 47th universe interact with the 37th one and affect in the 13th universe. So this is kind of philosophically what is actually happening in reality. Not get into the complex mathematical part, but all these tensors, when you at their interactions, then you get manifolds when you see the interactions. So I I have to get back. Yes. So we created a Hamiltonian. I will not get into Hamiltonians much, but and the density of primes and several kind of mathematical tools we started building up so that we can have tools to make a journey from horizontal to vertical or something. And also, if anyone of you in the IKS want to get into this mathematics and the other forms, you are very much welcome. So we have gone through the scriptures and literatures, and we have created an equivalent very, very advanced form of mathematics. And to the right from our paper, so we started plotting the density of primes with the neighbor interactions. And normally, you know, the prime number theorem, how prime numbers are distributed in the integer. And we find, you can see that we could find the pattern of Ohm in the density of primes itself. So we did a lot of experiments with the surface area versus mass, and then we try to look into the hierarchy problem, that the smallest part of the universe to the largest part of the universe, how does it form? And then different formats we got from the density of primes, we try to correlate. So to verify that why this even in the 14th century, 15th century, 17th century, 200, 300 years back, even now, 20, 30 years back, there are Hindu scholars, I mean, the Samkhya scholars who are producing different kind of literatures, arguments, and other kind of things. But all of them have one thing in common in the last 6,000 or 7,000 years of history. That is the pattern of the primes, the pattern of the integers, order factors, and all this should explain everything and anything that you see in the universe. It's a very, very bold scientific statement and a clear statement. You can prove it wrong. You can prove it wrong. So that is one of the criteria to be. So right now, if you look at what are the different origin of the universe models. So there is a cyclic universe model. Einstein proposed it in 1930. And then Sankhya has a philosophy. We have been talking about cyclic universe for thousands and thousands of years. We call it breathing of Brahma. And inspired by this Purusha Prakriti duality, we have, from our group, we have proposed self-operating mathematical universe, SOMU. And Roger Penrose in 2012 have started conformal universe. That is also another kind of cyclic universe. And he has come up with the concept of aeon. And that is very similar to our concept of kalpa. And then there is a holographic projection theory of the universe, that whole universe is like on a sphere, and on the top of the spheres, there is a holographic projector. And there are also single point from nothing, the universe got created. There is a bubble universe hypothesis. There is a ekpyretic universe, and there is a inflation theory also, Big Bang. And that is very close to Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha samvartatagre bhutashyataha prithivim. I mean, I think you hear about this. And then there is a theory of omnipresent, that is Abrahamic way, that God or something got created, or steady state universe, and universe is an advanced simulation. So this is one of them. And the J. Wheeler proposed a fantastic theory. I'm a big fan of John Archibald Wheeler, and then he has proposed that universe is kind of, you see it, that's why universe exists, based on the principle of quantum. And then 8 billion people are looking at the universe and changing and recreating the past. It's beautiful. Just think about it, how great it is. So all this kind of theory of the universe is there. And then we are in the class of cyclic universe, because we are talking about these things. So if you go on looking at the literatures, at the scriptures, they are so scientifically written and very, very, very clearly. For an example, George Sudarshan, he didn't get the Nobel Prize, but from his work on quantum chromodynamics, at least six Nobel laureates were born. Just look at the first one. the Lohita Shukla Krishna, I mean, the combination of three colors, they combine together and then they create the elementary particles. So Mahasi Kapil also made this argument. And then for thousands of years, it is not lost. It's not a accidental one literature. That is the beauty of Sanatan or Vedic principles to use in scientific practices. Because just like Greeks say that they discovered everything, they knew everything. You can find in 200, 300 BC, everything. So they have only one literature, one sentence, one word. But that kind of inferiority complex you won't have. Because even in the 14th century, you will find literatures like this. So uh, Sanatan Hindu, this philosophy, it was never dead. It was never dead. It was not accidental one. It many different way. For an example, Hiranyagarbha Samavartatagre. Hmm. And cyclic universe theory or cosmic rasa, cosmic sea and rasacha vishwakarmana samavarta tagni. Hmm. So it is rotating in a cyclic manner. And then in Rig Veda 10:192 by 3, you see Bhartate Jagat Pranamida. So universe is alive and it takes a lifelike thing. Bhartate means cyclic, and Jagat Pranamidam. So you can find similar kind of evidences everywhere. Now I would just like to tell you one very fantastic part. So that is in Rig Veda, there is this is my personal note. I have not created it, so just bear with me. So there is one word called Rita. And if you want to understand about anything about Hinduism, the first word that you should learn is Rita. So what is Rita? The universe has a fundamental property that it wants to complete the cycle. Someone, something, everything, whatever you see anywhere in the universe wants to try to complete a loop, and then clockwise, anti-clockwise, and then superposition. So prati, viprati, and all these kind of cyclic combinations are there. And there are tanmatra elements, and then finally they bring Satva, Raja, Tama, these three qualities, and then they combine together, and then somehow the universe is born. So 390 times in Rig Veda you will find that Rita word is mentioned. And you can consider a big circle, and then three equal circles, Satva, Raja, Tama. Then it is Prakriti. Okay, but Bigana Bhikshu in Sankhya Tattva in 14th century, he wrote beautifully that this everywhere in the universe, the Sattva-Rajatama, they are oscillating. Okay, it cannot be separated. So it took many years, thousands of years, but we evolved the concept. I have a chart. I mean, I've not put it here, but I have a chart where I have put in 5,000, 6,000 years of practices, how scholars have evolved this concept, and it has become so mathematical in 17th century. So it's not me who created every entire part of it. It's just years after years, the scholars have put it. And then so Sattva-Rajatama, when they oscillate and they are not equal, then the Prakriti becomes sangsara. So we call it the family of husband, wife. Okay, and we say our sangsar. And in Bengali, we always say our sangsar. Actually, each and every word has thousands of years of history and scholarly meaning. We use it unknowingly. So, uh, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, who was the first president of India, he wrote a book on Indian philosophy. And then this right hand part is copied from his book. So that in Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, the excavation, you will find lot of dice, and we used to play dice. It was not a fun because there are many evidences of Shivlingas found in Harappa excavations. You will find many pots where the Purana stories are drawn. But the beautiful thing that you will find, the game, the chess game was invented in India. Chinese people, they claim that they also invented it because there are many complex yes forms. That is the problem with the Chinese. They copy it, and that's a problem with any person who copies. The person who create original, they will find it is always simple and very, very specific. So 8x8 Chauchat, you could find Chauchat Yogi and Chauchat Yogini, and beautiful mathematics is there for them. And when you are actually casting a dice, you play with the Satarajatama, and if you get point 1, you get a position, that is space. 2, it is order, symmetry. 3, you get grouping or symmetry classifier. 4, it's a mixing or partitioning. 5, separation, symmetry breaking. And 6 is eternal existing, that is the Samkhya. So you will find that Sankhya is actually up triangle, down triangle, and then together there's a union of Hara Parvati, Shiva and Parvati, and that is the kind of combination. You play cast dice. Are you playing a game? Lakshmi and is always playing in together this kind of ludo or something. It's not that they didn't have any work, cooking to do, or going to movies together, or roaming around. They had to run the universe, and then the universe could be run only if you cast the dice. So Radhakrishnan's book fantastically explains that Indians didn't build the and then there is also a game of ladder and snake. So it's called moksha and narak. Uh, and that kind of all the games that you see were derived from some somehow. So now I will come. I have already told you that time is cyclic. There are many such evidences. Time is undefined. As I told you, that you have to go to Jonathan Dweck's book. That's Sriharsa. Sriharsa, he was a Vedic scholar, and he wrote space-time, why time has to be undefined. So we use this particular concept that when there is a cycle of time, you see that in all the pages, you find this circle is coming and forming a circle. So basically, if you split it up, you'll find inside a clock many, many tiny little clocks, and they are not connected. So they are undefined. So Sriyasa first makes this argument that the time cycle is fine, but you have to also do that. So how Prakriti got created from the unmanifested and from Sankharika, Satarajatama are equal, and how it goes on, and Abhakta Hidava Vingshati Deva. So there are different kind of prime symmetries, how they come together. For an example, 1x C1, C3 and C7 symmetry, how they are coming together to create the universe. You will find in Rigveda 1.164.41, and you will find Panchasiddhantika Barahami 5th century Daivika, or divine number ordered factor. So in current, mathematicians mostly are interested in finding numbers, predicting new prime number. But Hindu mathematicians, they were not interested in finding primes. They were interested in finding that how prime numbers combine and generate patterns or symmetries that can explain different symmetries of the universe. So Rita is the rule of the cosmic order. It remains the supreme, creates all, including the cosmic sea and light. It is Rigveda 10.190. Universe got created from one and only Sat because it wanted to be many. The question is why. Okay. So in this way, we can go on and on and on, but I will get into thinking that so 3 dimensional space, 3 dimensions of time, 3 dimensions of morphogenesis, and 3 dimensions of prime. Then after that again, it creates a space because it has to be in will. So there could be 6 fundamental forces, and then you can go up, and you go to the density of primes. So this is I ask, in today's time, you can upload all your philosophy to the LLM tools, or different artificial intelligence tools, and ask it to create a model, and they will create a model for you. So this is the model of many humans are there, And then from the center, the concept of loka, 14 lokas. Shiva is the king of 14 lokas, and then different cyclic universes that are generated. So they created it. I just presented to you. Now, getting back to the vibrations of protein. So my life actually started. I started measuring proteins, and then with quantum tunneling measurement. So 2014, I found a very interesting thing. If you measure tubulin protein, you don't find one. Tuning fork. If you hit it, you will find one frequency. But I found that tubulin proteins that are few nanometer, and there are 3 time temporal bands, and each temporal band has 3 more bands. And if you go inside, you find 12 peaks. So triplet, and that is 9, and 9 into 12 is 108. So 108 different kind of frequency bands are there. If I go to tubulin protein, now tubulin protein makes microtubule. Microtubule binds together and creates the neuron, core structure of neuron. So I made all the layers, entire hierarchy. I found triplet, and I predicted. Yeah, I was in my 30s, so I was very aggressive, and I felt like this is what is happening in the whole universe, and I predicted it. And after that, after many years passed, and 2020, one of the persons from US took the probe and then touched it in his head, and he got triplet. And he searched in the internet, found my name, contacted me, and then told me, you said that there should be triplet in the entire universe. Okay, I see it in my head. So now I will end my today's lecture showing you our current work, that we are working in the hospital, a person who is undergoing coma or anesthesia, and then we could see what are the new type of signals that are coming up. So we found that the prime number of vibrations are coming together, and the prime number of resonances are coming together. So it's not one, it's tens of peaks are coming together. And then we took years and found out how it happened, how this grouping is happening. For example, 6 different resonance frequencies, or 6 different tuning forks are together. So they can 2 2 2 or 3 3. 8 could be 4 into 2, 2 into 4. 12 could be 4 into 3, 3 into 4, 6 into 2, 2 into 6. So these are called order factor. So in the horizontal axis, you can say, suppose you are the god, and you have been asked that, okay, I will give you only Samkhya, and you have to create the whole universe. Then what would you do? So what would you do is that you take the integers, make all possible combinations, and you can rotate it, and you will get a temple-like architecture. Before I go to the next slide, here is a beautiful code by in Aryabhatiya, by Aryabhatta. Mathematics is fundamental to doing science. In all conclusions, the mathematics is reflected. So you see that if you are talking about Vedic science or Sanatan Hindu science, then it's all, they are so obsessed with mathematics, that everything and anything anywhere happening has to be mathematics. So you see this guy, he was just a crazy guy. I would say that one of the most craziest scientists that you can think, Aryabhatta. And he's saying that whatever the conclusion even you draw, you will find that is some numbers. So when I rotate this spheres, we get a structure like this. So I wrote in 2020 a book on how to make an artificial brain, and then self-operating mathematical universe. So 400,000 digits are in the horizontal axis, and the vertical axis are the how many different ways you can combine. So we call it Purusha. So we call it mathematical structure of Purusha. So I feel like we are advancing continuously, and the 6,000 years or 7,000 years or 8,000 years of knowledge quest to understand the non-physical reality of the universe, which is totally silent in the Western universe, has not died. And we are just playing our part, a tiny little part, to continue this culture where we try to understand the universe using a crazy thought. And then if you consider only say prime 2 and then take the multiples of 2 and then try to create this temple-like architecture. You can take multiples of 3 and create the temple-like architecture. So we have gone up to 47. Now you can ask why up to 47? Because in the human brain and structures, we found only 15 primes there. So then I was very big fan of Arushi, because Maharshi Kapil said, of course, Samkhya is everything, but those symmetries, you have to include Kala Chakra with it. So basically, from symmetry, when you include Kala Chakra, that is, each sphere is a clock. So 3D clock architecture should be the fundamental structure that is governing the universe. So this is Arushi's part. And then Kapila Arushi duality, I have tried to put it with this, this mathematical structure. And then we created a whole human brain model. So one of my PhD student, Pushpendra Singh, he will now be joining as assistant professor in IIT Mandi. And so normally we say that our past, present, future, but every single component in the brain is like a clock. So smaller sphere means faster clock, larger sphere means slower clock. So these are the references, the papers that we have published. We are continuously publishing, and we are the only group in the world who have integrated brain model. So of course, different clocks are reported by different research groups in the last 100 years, but no one tried to integrate them into a singular structure. And we have talked about Kala Chakra, but do you know that spheres and spherical particles in your cell, in your body, is doing this, just like Kala Chakra? Isn't it beautiful? So, when I got 108, then I didn't know what is 108, because like most of the BTechs or other students who are sitting here, my whole presentation is going high above your head, and you were able to get nothing out of it. So my situation was also just like you for years, even up to 34, 35. And when I got 108 peaks, and then I was giving a lecture in US, and one professor came, one Jain came, and then gave me a book, and the title of the book was 108. I was so shocked that nobody talked to me in India. And even now, if I want to learn anything, I follow Nietzsche, I follow Western writers and philosophers. And from India, it's almost like a sin. If you say Hinduism, Vedic science, or something, you are kind of a criminal, or kind of a communal or something. It's so disgusting. If you can discuss it in Harvard, but you cannot discuss it in say Delhi University. Or maybe IIT Roorkee. I don't know what is the environmental condition right now, because I'm for 20 years I'm away in Japan. But when I grew up, this was kind of a situation. So best knowledge you want to understand, you go to Netherlands and buy the journals. So they are very much okay. They are getting tons of Nobel Prizes, and then still they're talking about this. Einstein can talk about breathing of Brahma. um, uh, um, uh, Heisenberg can come to Calcutta and go to Santiniketan to discuss Vedas, and he can easily write that he got inspired from Hinduism to for uncertainty principle. But Indian scientists have huge problem, because they get tons and tons of Nobel Prizes, and Western scientists are unable to get even single Nobel Prize. That's the difference. So I feel disgusted as a young kid. But I found that Shiva has 108 dance form, 108 types of raga. I learned tabla, 17 beats or 19 beats, 22 1 beats, 23 beats. But one of my friend and colleague from South India, from Tamil, he told me that there is Siva Nandanam, one tala, which is 108 forms. So you can understand Western music is about 2 2 or 3 tick 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 finish. But here it could be 7, it could be 13. You can understand what kind of brain power do you need. So next time you see the musicians, don't underestimate them. Or some of your friends are playing music, or playing Indian music, don't underestimate them. Because if you do, then show him a periodicity of 7, periodicity of 13, periodicity of 47 prime periodicities. Do that. So our festivals, muhurta, our dress codes, our food, everything roam around 108, and this color combinations that came out from Sankhya philosophy and rhythm, Chanda Shastra. You will not find any other country in the world, any other civilization where hundreds of hundreds and hundreds of books over thousands of years were written on what is the best way of composing rhythms, the mathematics of rhythms, Chanda Shastra, so many books, so many books. So, um, uh, so this is, I'm pronouncing Om, and you see the structure. There are 12 nodes, and it's a triplet, and you can cancel. If you do the X-ray, you see it. So what you see, and the sound profile and the structure, the cavity resonate, cavity generated vortex, and the resonance are same. So basically, we did 3D simulation of when you are pronouncing Om, and then how the field distribution happens. And these are the Shiva's 108 on forms. So we took with finger and with the leg and the body, you generate this kind of dynamics. So the kind of vortex that generates. So vortex word is very important. It's a line of, it's a field, a distribution of field. You know that Vedas, writing Vedas was prohibited for thousands of years. Why? Because they believe that if you write it down, then it will become a blind religion, right? Why? Because in Hinduism there is no absolute truth. Everything has to be challenged. So guru needs to be challenged. If you cannot challenge and find out, because every truth is a living life form, so after a certain period of time the truth dies. Every single truth has to die. So so we went on creating this the 36 and 36 in three sets, the vortex field distribution, not only for dance forms, because your blood cells are iron, and then you generate an electromagnetic field distribution when you dance, and that is more important to me, not the dance forms as is. um, uh, I mean, for a scientist, what is the field distribution and vortex? You can Google search. It's a very interesting field of research, and we have built a computer with a vortex. Now, this is Sanskrit. I mean, I was very happy that you started Sanskrit, but I don't think you ever saw this plot. So this right hand side are 47 different letters of Sanskrit, and each letter has a meaning. So you will find that I mean, I'm a big fan of Mahasi Kapil, because he argued that if you want to understand consciousness, and if you want to understand how universe operates, you need a language. The language where each letter you pronunciate, that letter should generate equivalent emotion or perception or cognition in the mind of the listener. So you have to perfect these vortices. That's why Sanskrit scholars, they concentrate on, and these are the field distribution, two ways. In the left hand side, you can see I have rotated in one direction, and the right hand side I have rotated in another direction. But each letter has a beautiful unique field symmetry, and they are supposed to generate. So it took several thousand years to build Sanskrit, because they wanted to create a perfect cognitive language. So Sanskrit is not a language for your entertainment or conversation. Sanskrit is a language which is a 47 letter code to get the cosmic cosmic cognition, and assemble them and generate and create rhythm. So I can talk one day on Sanskrit, but not today. So Kalpa cycle with Mahapralaya is adopted in self-operating mathematical universe. I will bypass. If a model is right, then it should demonstrate and solve. There are several fundamental problems. Solve the hierarchy problem, derive fundamental constants, fuse the special theory of relativity with quantum. So if you really think that Vedic science makes any sense, or it is important in today's time, these are the list of the problems which nobody can solve. There is no solution. Huge debate is going on these problems. Can you contribute to this understanding? If not, then there is no need for Indian knowledge system. Indian knowledge system has to contribute to the futuristic society, futuristic technology development and something, and then tell that, okay, it is important. If not, we just throw, because that is what Hinduism teaches us, that if every single truth is a living life form, and after that it becomes unimportant. So I started working on finding how many different ways, because I am from Bengal, we still have surname called Tarka. So they were actually systematically killed by British. The British did many harm, and one of them was destroying the Indian knowledge system. And if you really want independence, you need IKS. IKS is the first step. And then one of the fundamental thing was argument. And then you see architecture of confusion. That is, I will explain to you today. And based on that, we build a quantum computer. I will show you the computer also. And we have published it. So architecture of confusion, if you want to study, of course, you have to follow Nietzsche, German philosopher's book, because it's very, very communal in India. But you can, in Germany, you can, of course, definitely study. So neti, there is another principle. So 12 principles I found, the way they used to do the argument, and how to infer, how to make a decision. So I will not, because of lack of time, I will not get into all of this. Only architecture of confusion. So always you are told that you think about facts, think about facts. No, we are orthogonal to the Western. So linear, step by step thinking is not ours. Ours is just, you make a decision, you go within and outside. So 600, more than 600 BC, Akshapada Gautama, he came up with a concept on how to solve a problem. So if you face a problem in your life, find out the biggest confusion that you have. And how do you say confusion? I would like to read it out to see how scientific they were in making a statement. So these hymns which are written, and they were always used to write very, very little, not page after page. In your rotten memory, you put it and you go and give exam. Because of this Western education system, if there is an Indian knowledge system, you should write everything in 2 lines, and particular rhythm you have to follow to give the meaning. And that will be a heavenly life, I think, for all students. So in 600 BC, in Naya Sutra 1.1.23, a confusion is especially conflicting expectations of multiple coexisting properties when foliated from within becomes onion. You will find all the Hindu philosophers for thousands of years talk about onion. No. They are not interested in onion. They were interested, because onion, you take out, if you foliate it from within or above, you get the foundation of concept of loka, within and above, this orthogonal fractal tape I talked about. So everything is inspired by onion. So that's why you will find Ramakrishna's and Vivekananda's philosophy, you will find always talking about onion. So onion is a beautiful example to understand. So you take a confusion, you go inside, find more confusions, and what are the key other confusions that is generating this confusion. And then you go in, and then B part, you see I have put in architecture. So you get a temple like architecture. This whole architecture goes there, and then finally you reach fact. When you reach fact, you stop. This whole geometric topological architecture is the solution of the problem. Now you may ask that many people can start with a different confusion. Of course, they will reach in their own solutions. So there are 3 gunas, Satva, Raja, Tama. Satva is just like recursive feedback operator, and we are creating large pool of mathematical tools and toolkits, so that we are building these computers. So Satya, Raja, Tama based computer, where Raja means transformation. Transformation means triangle becomes a square becomes pentagon. Satya means infinite series. And then if you take the sum of the infinite series, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 dot up to infinity is equal to minus 1 by 12. Where the minus 1 by 12 comes from, of course, it is playing with the infinity. So then bringing a feedback. and Tamas means bonding. Bonding, and how can you preserve states acting as a memory, and then mathematically you can express them. So differences between Sanatana Hindu approach and Abrahamic science is that Brahmic science is a fractal tape. Information grows within and above. Brahmic science sees time as a circular, crystal-like object like Kala Chakra. So 3 dimensions of time. Brahmic science argues primes are Daivic numbers creating Samkhya, regulating the universe using morphogenesis. These are non-physical reality beyond Maya or space-time world. Number 4, universe has a purpose to serve higher life. Highest life is Virata Purusha. So it's a life inside a life inside a life inside a life inside a life, and in this chain. So it's a consciousness inside a consciousness inside a consciousness inside a consciousness, and it's an endless chain. So universe is inside, is a point and evolving to be complete. Helical symmetry is the fundamental device because that is the vortex. Universe has 14 locus, one above another, and uppermost universe and lowermost universe are same, orthogonal to each other. Now I will show you in the last part, final conclusions, that how we have created different technology inspired by this philosophy. So this is the drug molecule that we have created. It's a 10 nanometer in size. It's a palm dendrimer. Outside there are molecular motors, and there are decision making molecule balloon like thing inside, and these are the discs of conformation. So many different things we have put all inside 10 nanometer. So we call it the smallest life form, and it follows the quantum beating principle and polyatomic time crystals, or the different clocks, 3D shape of brain that I showed to you. So its intelligent structure is almost like that. So anything and everything that we have created, synthesized organic molecules or machines we made in our laboratory, are all like this. So you can, now this is a quantum computer. Again, you see that we are finding periodic motions of those. There's a control panel for beyond quantum computer that is from my lab here. And what you do is periodic motions we convert into Kala Chakra. So no beat, no qubit, no circuit. And then there is a wireless resonant communication among different helical nanowires using which we write. So these are the electromagnetic resonance frequency band. And then with these cables and function generators, we bring them together to the chemical reactor over here. And then there is a photon, single photon source, and from single photon source the light passes through the organic gel and we read it. Okay, so using these principles, we have created the computer. And finally, I would like to show you, we have created many different machines because our brain, from 1875 people were studying EEG machine. Okay, so use 1 hertz to 40 hertz, but we say that, as I showed you, in neuron, kilohertz, megahertz, gigahertz, terahertz. I'm not saying that consciousness is in megahertz, consciousness is in gigahertz. I'm saying there is a new kind of science that is we call Sanatana Hindu Dharma based science. And that is, I do not call it Dharma because I think that Sanatana Hinduism is all about a scientific practice, a practice to understand the universe and implementing it in our culture. Every part of the culture actually follows this kind of scientific practice. It's a life form that has been integral. So we should, if a person becomes unconscious, do you see a unique type of this kind of bursts and something? So is consciousness when it's coming from the universe or it's emergent? So there are many fundamental debates, and it is one of the biggest debates of this century. So that's why we did, the person is top left corner, the person is we are getting consent. So I think Tanusri will be here. Dr. Tipu Saifullah, he's the leads in a yellow dress, right? You can see, and I am there. So you can see before propanol and gas, the brain gets triplet. But whenever there will be, we will provide some medicine, and you can see P3, P4. You continuously see a special kind of bursts that is generated. And when the person becomes completely conscious, and then we also found one person who was silent in the Hertz domain or seconds domain, but deep inside he was alive. So we are trying to create now, invent a new type of machine where all layers of consciousness we will simultaneously measure, which were not possible to see. So Pramatra Sankhya Foundation that we have established in IIT Mandi to develop Maharshi Gautama's architecture of Confucian based quantum computer, and Ministry of Electronics, MeitY, Government of India, Department of Science and Technology, Amity University, and IIT Pandi. So all these people who are working on this, and recently we have also started working with Gujarat University, and they are interested in build new type of machines. And thank you all for your patience and listening.
So, Arjun, do you have any questions, or can I go ahead?
Hello, sir, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Right, right. Thank you to Dr. Bandyopadhyay for a truly captivating lecture. You have taken us on a journey through complex yet fascinating territories where ancient knowledge systems meet modern day scientific exploration, with a focus on heavy mathematics. The topic of resonance, biomaterials, symmetry is indeed one that has left us with much to think about. At this point, we would like to open the floor for any questions from the audience, including online. For online audience, you can type in your questions and anything which you. Yeah.
Yeah, Doctor. The patient. So was that also done using dodecanogram, or how did you collect those signals?
Yeah, dodecanogram, DDG.
Okay. And the second question is about slides. You drew a chessboard, showed the symmetries, throwing a dice. So as for philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, we know the Satva, Tamas, Rajas, they are in different combinations. So what are the, can we quantify those combinations also as per scriptures? A possible number of combinations.
Yeah, of course you can. And I had those slides people have created on chessboard, on Chaucer, with computer simulations, because top scholars from computer science and different engineering are coming in to this Indian knowledge system all over the world, and then they are producing many different tools for calculations. So in the 1950s, 1960s, you will find several discussions on quantification using Satyarajatama. Actually, it started in 14th century by Biggana Bhikshu. He wanted to quantifying things.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah, hello, sir. I'm a master student in bioscience, and obviously, I'll yeah accept that this several of the complex calculations went really over my head. But all of your experiments, the inferences and conclusions that you put up, information, these were really interesting. And I actually wanted to ask you on a different note. From the second law, I think, from thermodynamics, we conclude that the entropy of the universe is increasing. So can you like have any kind of views or ideas on these things? I really wanted to know about this.
Yeah. So in 1995 to 1999, in Japan, they started measuring and verifying this hypothesis quite carefully, and they found that symmetry of the universe remain constant, up and down and increasing. So many things happen. And also the second law of thermodynamics is valid when we consider that a universe is a closed sphere. Okay, as if somebody has gone outside and closed it. If you want to close something, you have to go outside, right? And you have to fix it. So who has fixed it? So I had a problem with the second law of thermodynamics since my childhood, and still I have not understood second law of thermodynamics. I'm sorry. I can't. Who is out there fixing the boundary of the universe? Who is doing it? Then because it's telling, no, the whole universe is kind of a fixed, and then total amount of energy in the universe is fixed. But every 10-15 years, new microscopes are going, and then we are getting the diameter is even bigger. And then the new telescope has found that some of the huge structures almost at the origin of the universe, of the age of the origin of the universe. So I mean, I consider myself as a 15-year-old kid, and I don't understand how the universe is a closed structure. I have no idea. I don't know anybody. I am been reading, and if any one of you kid students have any answer, please contact me and let me know. Educate. I would love to learn. But 1997 to 1999 experiment shows that entropy does not increase continuously. It sometimes remains stable, sometimes increase, sometimes decrease. And so all these kind of messy things happen in any system. Because, to be honest, every single system is an open system. Closed system is a hypothetical thing, and then we create approximately closed system. But regarding universe, I don't know.
Hello.
Hmm.
Hello, Anirbandha. This is Ashu. And my question is related to, as you have simplified the brain. So, since we know very little about, neural connections and other brain complexity, so what is your say on some disease or, like autism, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, where they say that some neural connections are not behaving as per the standard means, so to say.
Yeah. So, like, there are many neurodegenerative disorders, and as you have seen that what we have done is spatiotemporal architecture model we have created. So brain is not a circuit for us; it's a musical instrument where many musical components are playing together, and certainly. A disease means some of the clocks, the spheres have shrinked or expanded. So expanded means it is going slow, and shrinked means it is going faster. So it is then in desynchrony or mismatch, phase mismatch with the other clocks. So we can do that. So we have applied for for ethical clearance in Harvard Medical School. So from next year, we might study with the DDG the autism patients. Also, another thing is that there are many disorders. For an example, Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's, you have some of the neuron blasts. They generate microtubules come out, they form a plaque, and then they go and move around the brain. And then whenever it goes to particular set of neuron, those neuron blasts off. So what happens? What is the mechanism? Can we get some vibrational aspect of it? So so far, since 1850, 1860 to until now, we have been looking into the brain like a spatial structure, only space. All the papers, even the biggest blue brain project from Europe, the paper they published is 11-dimensional brain. But what did they do is 11 dimension is spatial dimension. That means triangle, 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 triangle. Those triangles come together and form a pentagon, 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 and those pentagons coming together. So arrangement of spatial structure was their concern. But in our case, it's a rhythm, it's a vibration, it's time, it's a spatio-temporal architecture that is the problem. So not only we are looking into coma, into the patient who are dying, who are dead, who are going senseless, and Alzheimer's and autistic patients. We are also looking into several other features. For an example, we are going to check, because from the skull it is very difficult all the signals to come out. Megahertz, probably we are right, but we need to open the skull and do the measurement. So we are also trying to do that next year, and to open the skull and then try to see that is it really happening out there.
Any other question here? There is one question from the online audience. I would request Tanvi to ask that on the behalf of that audience.
IKS is based on concept of primacy of consciousness. You have built an artificial brain that is conscious. So what do you believe, is consciousness an emergent phenomena or a fundamental property of the universe?
Okay, so so artificial brain that we have created, we never had an objective to create a conscious machine or conscious brain. So artificial brain was created because physicists, when they do device measurement, they take the actual device, a blank device, and a dump device. Dump device means two probe, and the inside you will have a dump material, and empty material, nothing inside, and the actual device. And then they compare the three to find out what is consciousness. So when I see the research in the world, all over the world, that people are trying to understand consciousness and doing the measurement on the brain, just one device, as a physicist, the way I was trained during my PhD, that you have to compare three types of devices, I feel very, very bad. That how could my common sense doesn't allow me to understand that with one device measurement, how can you understand how the device is working? And also, most of the instruments that are existing today, I don't like any of them. When I came to Japan first, I created my own STM, completely different from the quantum tunneling measurement. And also right now we are making new systems, because I believe that all the time domains simultaneously working together. So that is what we did with our artificial brain. We took all the resonators, the whole clock architecture model, and we recreated as close as possible the whole clock architecture. So now when we will put the DDG scanner on the brain of a live human and an artificial brain, so with respect to artificial brain, we will compare the brain and try to eliminate all possible emergent signals to find the answer that whether consciousness is basically because I am connected to the universe and universe is connected to me, to that is keeping me conscious, or it is just emergent within me. So if the I personally believe that universe is a resonance chain that we published in 2014, and I am a small part of the chain. It's a big, say, guitar string, and I am a tiny string. So with the big string vibrating, I am also vibrating with it. So we can't say it is emergent, or we can't say that it is somehow someone out there, hey, I have 5 kilogram of consciousness, take 30 gram of it. So that kind of consciousness somebody is giving from outside, that also I don't believe. So it is just like co-emergence. So universe needs me, that's why it created me. So I am also serving some purpose of the higher life. So that is kind of course comes from intelligence. So your question, answer to your question, that whether A is true or B is true, I would like to say that C is true, neither A nor B, because C is kind of that uh, I mean, just I would say my hand is me, or what? It's me, it's mine, but all together, everything makes me. So it's not, it cannot be isolated.
I think that is a very nice example that you have given at the very end, and people will be able to relate to that. Although we are having quite a good engagement and engaging interaction at the end of this very interesting lecture, but for the interest of time, I would just have one last question from the online audience, and you are asked Tanvi to relay that to you.
So the question is from Tejaswini Gopal. So you just explained that Sattva, Rajas and Tamas are fundamental. From universe to small things in it are made of this combination. So have there been any scientific research on how to measure this? How to determine Sattva, Rajas or Tamas and how to quantify them?
No. I mean, we have been working on that, and I have never said Satyarajatama is fundamental, and the Hindu scriptures, Sanatana Hindu scriptures have never said that. Satyarajatama is made of Tanmatra, and then Tanmatra comes from Rita. Rita is a fundamental property that is there, then that was going there. So it is the elementary fundamental vibration of the universe. So the quest for elementary fundamental vibration, I mean, of course, microwave background radiation you are measuring, but what will be the and at least next 1,000 years, it's not possible, because right now we are at 10 to the power minus 27 meter. That is the Higgs boson. That's what I showed. Then you have to go to 10 to the power minus 53 meter. I mean, that is 10 to the power 7 orders there. So I am from my body to the quark level, 10 to the power 17 order. So that order also need to go below the Higgs boson, and to map the rest part of the universe, to understand, to go to the level of finding the existence of a fundamental waveform, that is Brahman. So at this moment, that level of science we cannot do, but Satyarajatama is very easy to do. I have given the mathematical expression for it, and finding the binding property, transformation property, and feedback from infinity, and then going there is very, very easy to do. We can do the measurement. I can do the measurement. Even I can show you how to do this measurement.
That was a very interesting relay of questions and an even more interesting relay of answers. As we come to the close of this evening's session, I would like to express my gratitude to all those who made today possible. Professor Anil Gaurishetty for his leadership and vision, Professor Soham Chakrabarti and all students involved for coordinating this wonderful event, and of course, Dr. Anirban Bandyopadhyay for sharing such groundbreaking insights with us. Professor Anil Mohdey, I need your permission. Should we conclude the session? Anything that you would like to add?
Perfect, all right. I hope participants have enjoyed, and Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Soham Chakravarti, for initiating this guest lecture series. Thank you so much.
Lastly, thank you to all of you present here. Thank you for making this such a wonderful audience, and it's been a pleasure to be part of such thought-provoking session. We look forward to seeing you for such future events by the Center of IKS. Thank you and have a great evening ahead. Dr. Anirban, you can lead the meeting.